Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a really powerful, deeply reflective psychological study, and honestly, it has massive implications for anyone caring for a child today. We're going to unpack something called the still face paradigm and see exactly how it connects to a huge phenomenon in our modern digital lives.
So let me ask you this. What actually happens when a parent just goes completely still? To figure that out, we've got to rewind back to a famous experiment from the 1970s. This is a study that literally changed the entire game on how we understand human connection and infant attachment.
It's known as the still face paradigm, a 1970s psychology experiment.
The setup for this is so incredibly simple. Imagine a mother sitting with her baby, and they're just interacting normally. You know the drill. They're smiling, talking back and forth, copying each other's little sounds. The baby is completely lit up and totally engaged. But then, the researcher asks the mother to do something a little strange. She suddenly goes completely still. Zero expression. No response at all. Just a totally blank face. And wow, this triggers an immediate, profound reaction from the infant.
We're talking mere seconds. Almost the moment mom freezes up, the baby desperately tries to reel her back in. In psychology, they call these bids for attention. The infant starts pointing, reaching out, making these urgent little noises. They even start smiling extra hard. Basically, they're doing absolutely everything in their power to force a reaction and pull their caregiver back into that shared connection. And this is where it brilliantly illustrates a really heartbreaking reality. Because when the baby realizes no reaction is coming, something tragic shifts. They just give up. You can actually watch them physically withdraw, turn their little bodies away, and they show deep, undeniable distress. Which brings us to the modern still face, replacing the blank stare. Decades later, researchers actually adapted this exact same experiment for our world today. But instead of asking the mom to hold that unnatural blank stare from the 70s, modern researchers made one very simple, everyday tweak. They just asked her to pick up her smartphone right in the middle of interacting with her baby. And the results are wildly telling. The baby's reaction to the phone is almost a carbon copy of that 1970s blank face. First, the baby tries even harder. We see this initial surge in bids for attention, extra gestures, louder noises. But when that screen stays parked in front of the parent's face, the baby just gives up. They turn away, their negative emotions spike drastically, and all those positive, happy emotions just absolutely plumb. This phenomenon actually has a name, Technoference. Let's look at the cost of this unseen distraction and just how frequently this modern still face happens in our normal routines. Get this. An overwhelming 92% of mothers report using a screen while feeding their infants. 92%! That is a massive chunk of the day where this subtle, still face is creeping into a primary bonding moment. And it doesn't stop there. The data shows that 65% report their phones interrupt playtime with their kids. That means over 6 in 10 times that you sit down to play, the connection is getting paused by the mere presence of a glowing screen. Now hold on, before we go any further, I want to be really clear. We are not sharing these numbers to make anyone feel guilty. Not at all. We've all been there. It's really just about awareness. One parent in the study had this incredibly tender, almost grief-filled realization. She said, "I genuinely thought that as long as I was in the room, like physically present, I was present." And I think so many of us fall into that trap, right? We completely misunderstand what true presence actually means.
She followed it up with this. "My child's nervous system noticed, even when I didn't." Let's just let that sink in for a second. Physical presence is just not the same thing as emotional presence. And those tiny developing nervous systems, they are hardwired to feel the difference.
Which brings us to presence over perfection, finding realistic balance. Because here's the good news. Nobody expects you to be phone-free 24/7. That's completely unrealistic. We live in a highly connected digital world, and that's okay. But there are these highly specific, really sensitive windows during the day where we can make a massive difference. Think about feeding time, bedtime, or even just the first 10 minutes right after they get home from school. During those specific windows, putting the phone away and just being fully, actually there, it's paramount. It's an absolute game changer. It's about prioritizing real connection in the moments that matter the most to their developing brains. So, as we wrap up this explainer today, I want to leave you with one final, really important question to chew on. Their brain is always watching. But are we? I'd love for you to just reflect on that the next time you feel the undeniable pull of your screen during those quiet, everyday moments with your kids.